back to the study of the Vivekacudamani. In the verse number 48, Shishya, the disciple, has already asked the question, Kripaya Shruyatam Swamin Prashnoyam Kriyate Maya Yaduttaram Aham Shrutva Krutta Yam Bhavan Mukhad. O Master, and I will be very much gratified to hear a reply from your lips to the doubts that I am having. And he has asked these questions. Ko nama bandaha? What is bondage? Kathamesha agataha? How has it come? I don't feel I am bound, but yet sometimes I feel that I am helpless and that I have no way of coming out of this mire that I have created for myself. So then, since you say that there is something called bondage, it must be there. So how is it that it came to me? And katham pratisthasya pratishtha katham? What is the locus of this? What is the basis of this bondage? And how is it that it continues to exist? Katham vimokshaha. If there is a bondage, definitely there should be a way. So how can I be freed from it? Kosao anatma. What is this non-self? Especially Shankaracharya had to deal with this topic of the anatmavada of the Buddhists, because they were propounding this philosophy or this doctrine of anatma, that there is no self at all. What exists is nothingness. That is what they were saying. Therefore, he had to counter the argument, and therefore he asked this question: what is this non-self that I am hearing about? Paramah ka Atma, who is the supreme self, or what is the supreme self? Parama Atma. Sometimes we say Paramatma, Atma, Paramatma. What is this Parama Atma? Who is this supreme self? Tayor Vivekaha Kathameta Duchyatam. How can I discriminate between the non-self and the self? So these are the questions that the disciple asks. See, the disciple must have the questions burning in him. Then the teacher will come at the right time and answer the questions. So here he has this burning. Firstly, he must have a burning faith. Faith that will burn all doubts. And then one must have this intense desire to know. See, this is something which, as spiritual aspirants, we must try to develop. This intense desire to become free. Generally, we are very happy to be what we are. Be happy with the world around us. And when we face the situation or circumstance, when we cannot get any answers through the world, then we are totally disappointed as we say, oh, what did I do all this time? I did not make any effort to know what is reality. So in order to avoid that, this Vivekacudamani has been written by Sri Shankaracharya. And he asks these questions through the representation or representative of the disciple? This is a question which comes to everybody's mind if one is serious about spiritual life. Now comes um, the response or the answers to the questions that are asked here. Quite a number of questions have been asked here. Therefore, they need to be understood. They need to be taken up methodically and with great care. That's why Sri Guru, he first of all eulogizes, because a guru does not, a guru becomes very, very happy if he finds a proper shishya, a proper disciple. There is a saying in Hindi, Guru mile lakh lakh, chela na mile ek. There are many gurus, but very difficult to get a proper chela. That chela means a disciple. So that's how it is. Therefore, when such a disciple asks the questions, pointed questions, not with the intention of cross-questioning him or just trying to be smart, but with the real intention of knowing the truth. So then the guru becomes extremely happy. So the guru eulogizes the shishya or the disciple. Sri Guru Ruvacha Dhanyosi Kritakrityosi Pavitam Te Kulam Tvaya Yadavidya Bandha Muktya Brahmi Bhavitumichasi. The Guru replied, Blessed art thou. Thou hast achieved thy life's end and hast sanctified thy family, that thou wishest to attain Brahmanhood by getting free from the bondage of ignorance. See? That is, the Guru says to the disciple, you are indeed blessed, and you have come to such a state of life wherein you want to know the truth, nothing but truth. Dhanyosi Krita Kritya means one that has achieved state of fulfillment. Krita Kritya means fulfillment. You have become fulfilled. You have enjoyed everything of the world, but now you have understood that the external enjoyments does not give you the real happiness or real joy. So, by mere questioning, the disciple has fulfilled, as it were, the purpose of human life. This jignyasa, atma jignyasa, or the desire to know one's own self. Not everyone asks for this, definitely. So, and then he says, you are purified, you have sanctified your family. Several generations become sanctified when one person who is intent on knowing the Atman is born in that family. So that is what Pavitam Te Kulam Tvaya, your whole kula or your whole lineage. Kula means lineage is now sanctified. Why? He says, because you are Brahmi Bhavitum Ichasi. You are struggling to realize Brahman by removing the bondage of ignorance. But avidya bandha muktya Brahmi Bhavitum Ichasi. Avidya bandha. This bondage of ignorance, that has to be removed or that has to be overcome. So it is said in our scriptures, some of the minor scriptures, that the 7 generations of the past and 7 generations of the future will become purified if a person is born who is intent on knowing this self. So that is the greatness that the, uh, the jignasa, or that uh, this intense knowing or intense desire to know causes. 7 generations behind and 7 generations after the person who is asking this question, their lives will become purified. So that is what he says. Now, the Guru also eulogizes a little more, and he says, Rinamurchana kartaraha itusanti sutadayaha bandhamochana kartatu swasmadanyo na kaschana. I will read 2 of them together. Mastak nirvaryate krudhadi krita dukkhantu vinasvena na kenachit. It says, Ridamochana kartara pitussanti sutadaya. Father has got his sons and others to free him from his debts, but he has not he has got none but himself to remove his bondage. Troubles such as that caused by a load on the head can be removed by others, but none but one's own self can put a stop to the pain which is caused by hunger and the like. See, if we are if we are in debt, our children can relieve of the debt naturally, provided they are willing to do that. So it was something, but it is a bounden duty of a child to relieve the debts of the parents. But vinasvena na kenachit bandhamochana kartatu. If we are bound in ignorance, that is spiritual ignorance, then the children cannot relieve us from it. So we have to do it our own selves. We have to do it our own selves. And then he gives another example. Shankaracharya gives another example. Others can relieve the load that we carry on our heads. You are carrying something on your head, and somebody can come and take that load away from you. But none but one's own self can put a stop to the pain which is caused by hunger and the like. This is something which is normal. If you are hungry, you should eat the food. Then only your hunger will be relieved. If I eat the food, then your hunger will not be relieved. Kshudhadi krita dukkhantu. Someone else eating the food would not appease the hunger of a person. So similarly, one has to strive for this spiritual freedom by one's own self. Even Bhagavan Buddha, he said when his chief disciple Ananda, he was a very favorite disciple of the Buddha. He asks when he sees that Tathagata or the Buddha is about to pass away, he sheds tears and then asks the Buddha, Sir, what will happen to us? What will happen to us after you are gone? Who will look after ourselves? Who will guide us? To this, the Buddha says a very famous saying, Attadipo bhava ananda, attadipo bhava. In Pali language, Atta means Atma. Attadipo bhava. Be a light unto your own self, O Ananda. Be a light unto your own self. So we have to shed light onto our own selves. So that is what is very important. We must, while we can take the help of books, while we can take the help of some teacher, ultimately we need to eat the food, be nourished by it, and then become strong. So that is very, very important. Some people say, oh, grace is there. Somebody, some Baba or some Guru he will give his blessings to me and I will become better. No, no, we have to raise ourselves. We have to raise. In the Bhagavad Gita also, Sri Krishna says this very famously, Uddharet Atmanatmanam Natmanam Avasadayet Atmaivahi Atmano Bandhu Atma Eva Ripuratmanaha. Raise yourself by yourself. The lower self must be raised by the higher self. That is, I am Atman. I am a part and parcel of the divine. That should kick in, that idea should kick in and raise our lower self, which is always saying, I am limited. I am a human being. I am a householder or I am a monk. All these upadhis or all these adjuncts, we are identifying ourselves with these adjuncts. So that's why Sri Krishna says, Uddharet Atmana Atmanam. Raise yourself by your own self. Na Atmanam Avasadayet. That is a very, very important sentence that we need to teach our children, teach our youngsters, not only youngsters, even our friends and relatives. What is it? Do not demean yourself. Do not let yourself down. Na atmanam avasadaye. Avasadana means to demean oneself. To think of myself as limited, to think of myself as useless. All these things come to us when we are in the depths of depression. So that has to be avoided. Therefore, always stand upon yourself, says Swami Vivekananda. Stand upon the idea that you are the Atman. And then, from that standpoint of view, conduct your activities with great zeal, with great enthusiasm, but always having that idea that I am the Atman, I am the imperishable self. Na Atmanam avasadayet. And then he says, Atma evahi Atmanaha bandhu. You are your own friend. And Ripuratmanaha, you are your own enemy. What a great teaching that of the Bhagavad Gita that we have here. No, it rouses up. It asks us to shake off the shackles that we think we are bound with. No, we are not bound at all. We think we are bound, but we are not bound. We are the free self. Free Atman is ever free. This idea has to be implanted in every one of us, not only in our own selves, but also in the minds of our youngsters. It's a very important point to take note. So in the next verse, Shankaracharya talks about medicine. If I am sick, I must take medicine myself. Patyam aushadha seva cha kriyate yena rogina arogya siddhir drishtasya nanyanushtita karmana. The patient who takes the proper diet and medicine is alone seen to recover completely, not through work done by others. Other people's efforts is not going to cure me when I am sick. I must take the medicine. I must, put the medicine into my mouth, or intravenously I must take it. Be ready to take it. Then I shall be cured. Otherwise, I shall not be cured if somebody else makes the effort. That is the idea. And I have to put an end to all the blindness, all the weaknesses that I have been subjected to all this time. That is the idea. Nobody else can do that for me. So here, this concept of Purushakara. Purushakara means one must have this Purushakara. It doesn't mean man or woman. Purusha here does not mean man or woman. Purishayanatiti Purushaha. One in whom the self resides is called as Purusha. So Purushakara, one must have this idea that I am the self. That must come. Purushakara, the self-effort should be there. That is the idea here. Not only not through work done by others. Vastu Swarupam Putabodha Chakshusha Svenaiva Vedyam Natu Panditena Chandraswarupam Nija Chakshushaiva Jnatavyamanyairavagammyate Kim. The true nature of things is to be known personally through the eye of clear illumination and not through a sage. What the moon exactly is to be known with one's own eyes. Can others make him know it? See, this is a wonderful verse that we come across here in this grantha, in this scripture. That is, that we have to be very practical in whatever we do. It should be very scientific, mathematical, and all of that. So Swami Vivekananda says, religion is realization. Doctrines or temples or churches or books are only secondary details. So religion, dharma, is realization. I must be able to experience it. I must be able to realize it. It is a dynamic process in our life, not static. Religion is a dynamic process. In whatever I do, in whatever I think, I should bring this idea that I must become perfect. In perfection or realization, you may call it realization of the perfection that is already within a being. That is the definition that Swami Vivekananda gives. Religion is the realization of the perfection that is already in man. See, you may go to a temple, you may go to a church, wherever it is. It's all right. It is external, bahya, but antar, that means within oneself, one must try and realize that I am the Atman. This is this search or this Jignasa, this intense wish or this intense desire of knowing who I am. So he says, Vastu Swarupam, the true form of this reality. Vastu means the reality here. Vastu Swarupam, Sputabodha Chakshusha. He says it has to be realized. But how shall we realize it? Through one's own clear eye of understanding. Sputa Bodha Chakshusha. Clear eye of understanding. Chakshu means what physical eye. So Bodha Chakshu means the eye of understanding. So eye of understanding, a clear eye of understanding, or the knowledge that dawns within every one of us. Of course, it is represented by the third eye and so on and so forth. We shall not get into that. It is not the physical eye that he is talking about, but it is the Bodha Chakshu. Bodham, Pratibodha Viditam, Amrtatvam hi vindate, Atmana vindate viryam, Vidyaya vindate amritam, says the Upanishad. So, Bodham, Pratibodham. See, Shankaracharya says there. What is it? Pratibodha means it is the understanding within an understanding. That is a deeper understanding, not a mere knowledge that we learn from books or by somebody's teachings about it. No, it is something that one has to realize within one's own self. Sri Ramakrishna's examples are exemplary. So he says there, no, some have seen milk, or some have heard about milk, some have seen milk, some have just tasted milk, some have drunk the milk and has been nourished by it. So which is the best of all of this? All of them have got an understanding about milk, but the person who has drunk the milk and has been nourished by it, his understanding or his experience about the milk is the best. So this is what it is. Sputa Bodha Chakshu, in our the eye of understanding. Sputa Bodha Chakshu. If that opens, then the understanding will become permanent. Nobody can take it away from you. So we can listen to lectures, we can attend classes, we may also lecture about it, but it doesn't at all matter. What matters is one's realization, one's realization. So here he says, and he gives an example over here. Chandra Swarupam, Chandra Swarupam, Nijachakshusha eva Jnatavyam, Anyai avagamyate kim. See, the true form of the full moon should be known by means of one's own eyes. Behold it with your own eyes. Somebody might have taken a photograph of it, high resolution photo and all of that. Yes, it is all good, but that does not give the joy of seeing the moon as you get when you see the moon by your very own eyes, isn't it? So somebody gives a proxy and then and then says this is how it is, or by proxy he shows it to you. No, that doesn't happen. So anyaihi avagamyate kim. Even if somebody very poetically describes the moon to us, there is no fun in it. There is no fun in it, absolutely. We have to see the beauty for our own selves. So with these verses, Sri Shankaracharya is trying to impress upon us the, the necessity of performing the sadhana, the spiritual practices, our own, our, by our own effort. We must make that effort. Just reading um, uh, from somebody, reading the writings of somebody or listening to somebody, yeah, they help a little bit, but no, it is not enough. One must practice this spiritual disciplines in our own life. That is the idea that has been mentioned here. Avidya kama karmadi pashabandham vimochitum kah shaknuyad vinatmanam kalpakotishatairapi. Who but one's own self can get rid of the bondage caused by the fetters of ignorance, desire, action, and the like? Aye, even in 100 crore of cycles. See, very poetic over here. Who but one's own self can get rid of the bondage, this cycle of ignorance, avidya, kama, karma. This is the cycle. This is like the spokes of the cycle. So it goes up, comes down, goes up, comes down. Avidya, ignorance, gives rise to desire, and then desire gives rise to action. Again, action causes also ignorance. See, this is how it is. We are all caught in this, and all our activities, all our actions in this life is guided by the avidya. Avidya is ignorance. Then desire causes us to perform the actions, and again we fall into the purview of ignorance. But we, because of this ignorance, we keep on desiring for the objects of the senses. We keep on desiring for it, wanting it. And wants are never ending, as all of you are aware of. It is never ending. It will never end. Only knowledge can stem the desires from its very root. It can root it out. It only the desire, the mumukshutva, the desire to become free, that alone will be able to dispel this ignorance that is the bond that has caused us the bondage of this life. So he says, Kah shaknuyat vina atmanam kalpa koti shatairapi. Kalpa koti, even in 100 crore or million, billion cycles. No, even in that, we will not go. That is to say, there is a saying that even the position of Brahma, the creator, is temporary. he creates, and then another Brahma comes afterwards. So that is to say, this worldly thing, or the nature of the world is such that it will keep on coming and keep on going. So even the position of Brahma is nothing compared to the realization of the self, Atma, Atma Pratiti or Atma Jnana. He is the king of all. That person is the king of all. Na yogena na sankhena karmana no na vidyaya brahmatmaikatva bodhena mokshasiddhyati nanyatha. Neither by yoga or by sankhya nor by work, nor by learning, but by the realization of one's identity with Brahman is liberation possible, and by no other means. Na yoge, na. Yoga here um, generally means hatha yoga, which strengthens the body. Yeah. Yoga, it can strengthen your body, but it cannot free you. It cannot free you. And Sankhya means according the Sankhya yoga. See, according to the Sankhya yoga, the philosophy of Sankhya, the liberation is achieved through discrimination between the Purusha, the soul, and the Prakriti, that is nature. The Purusha is sentient but inactive, and all activity belongs to the Prakriti, which is non-sentient. Yes, yet independent of the Purusha. The Sankhyas also believe in a plurality of souls. These are the main differences between the Sankhya and Vedanta philosophy. Even Vedanta philosophy is also secondary to the knowledge of the Brahman. In the Ashtavakra Gita, there the sage Ashtavakra says, why study anything at all? He says, even study is useless. Once you have achieved to the highest, all this is useless. Sri Ramakrishna himself used to say, Grantha means the scripture or the book. Grantha becomes a Granthi. Granthi means a knot. It becomes a knot because it confuses your mind if we do not pay attention to the essence of it. If we are only interested in the gymnastics of the words that are there, it will be very entertaining, no doubt, but the gymnastics is not going to take us to the ultimate goal. Grantha will become a Granthi. One then becomes very much interested only in study of the scriptures, study of the books, and not practicing what the scriptures ask us to do. Only intellectual reasoning, intellectual gymnastics, that's all that is there. So it is okay we need to keep our mind active, we need to keep our mind steady. There is no doubt about by study, there is no doubt about it. But that should not be the be all and end all of our spiritual life. One must do sadhana, spiritual disciplines, Shravana, Manana, Nidhyasana, all these, which Shankaracharya will explain later on. Brahma Atma Ek, the realization of the identity with Brahman is the only thing which will lead us to liberation. And no other means. See, this is the greatness of Vedanta. While some religions owe their total allegiance to some book or books, Vedanta says, well, the Vedas or the Vedanta, they are guides. They are guides. They will guide you up to a certain extent, but one must travel the path by our own effort. See? That is the difference between Vedanta and other religions, especially the Semitic religions. So here you can question, you can argue, there's no doubt about it, but ultimately one must completely become subservient to the ideal. Brahma Atma Ekatva Anubodha, Anubhava or Anubodha. That is Brahma and Atma. That Brahman, the supreme reality, and Atman, the relative reality, that is the self that is within me, they both are one and the same. This understanding must come to us by negating not this, not this, by negating that I am not the body, I am not the mind, and nothing in the universe is mine. I belong to the supreme reality. That understanding must come to us. That is the idea which is being enumerated here by Sri Shankaracharya. So Shankara talks about, he gives some more examples. Veenaya Rupa Saundaryam Tantri Vadana Saushthavam Prajaranjana Matram Tan Nasamrajyaya Kalpate. The beauty of a guitar's form and the skill of playing on its chords serve merely to please a few persons. They do not suffice to confer sovereignty. See, Shankaracharya is trying to drive into our minds that only self-realization, but only by self-realization, we will attain to liberation and not otherwise at all. So in the world, we recognize, we understand in Shankaracharya's time, the emperor used to be the supreme. So he gives that example. And therefore, he says, in the world, we understand a person to be an emperor only when he has an empire. And he or she must be the sovereign ruler of that empire, the sole ruler of that empire. Another person may be very popular, very rich, but that does not make him the king. That does not make him the sovereign emperor. No. So, want to gain that sovereignty, one must have an empire and become its sole ruler, the only ruler over there. Similarly, any amount of yoga or any other practices mentioned in the previous verse, na yogena, na sankhena, etc. So all of this is not going to confer sovereignty. So one must gain this kingdom within one's own self by intense spiritual sadhana. This is what Shankaracharya is trying to impress upon us. Prajaranjana matram anna samrajyaya kalpate. Vag vaikhari shabdachari shastravyakyana kaushalam vaidusham vidusham tatvat muktaye natu muktaye. Loud speech consisting of a shower of words, the skill in expounding the scriptures, and likewise erudition. These merely bring on a little personal enjoyment to the scholar, but are no good for liberation. See, Vag Vaikhari. Vaikhari means loud speech. See, consists of a shower of words, as it were. And then the skill, Vaikhari is supposed to be the lowest class because it's too loud. So, and and it represents. There are the 4 divisions of speech according to our scriptures. What are they? They are para, pashyanti, madhyama, and vaikhari. Para, pashyanti, madhyama, vaikhari. These are the 4 divisions of speech. Look at the depth that our ancestors had gone into. Even so-called sound or speech, they have divided, they have further classified them. They have observed and further classified them. So, para, pashyanti, madhyama, vaikhari. Para is the supreme sound, para sound. That is the anahata dhvani. The anahata dhvani. That which has not been struck, but that can be heard or experienced. The sound that can be experienced within oneself. Pashyanti is that which appears very brilliant to us. The sound that appears very brilliant to us, very energizing to us. That is called as Pashyanti. Then there is Madhyama. A little Madhyama is the middle sound, which is not too loud, but which has got some sound. So that is called as Madhyama. And then Vaikhari is loud speech. So the first 3, that is the Para, Pashyanti, Madhyama, is known only to the spiritual aspirants, to the rishis, to the yogis and all that, who have disciplined their mind through practice, spiritual practices. Manishinaha is called as Manishinaha. So the last one is Vaikhari, which we all use a lot, which we are using right now. So Para, Pashyanti, Madhyama, and Vaikhari. So the skill in expounding the scriptures and likewise erudition, these merely bring on a little personal enjoyment to the scholar, but are of no good for realization. Yes, that is why if you want to know reality, one must enter into silence. When some disciples or some people would go to Ramana Maharshi and ask him for instructions, the one thing which he would say is, Chumma iru. Be silent. What a great teaching. See, gurus in the Dakshinamurti Stotra, we get this. Gurostu maunam vyakhyanam shishyastu chinna samshayaha. The Guru teaches through silence, and all the doubts of the Shishya, the disciple, is dispelled, completely dispelled. So we will stop here and we shall study the 59, yeah. Om Shanti, 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 Hari Om.
Thank you, Swami.
Thank you,
Very
Swami.
much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Swamiji.
Thank you. Thank you, Swamiji. One question, if I may.
Yeah, sure.
You said it is divided into 4 sections. The language is divided in 4 sections: Para, Madhyama, and Pashyanti, and Madhyama and Vyavaharika. Vaikari.
Vaikari.
Yeah. So like what? I didn't really understand what does that 4 section mean or imply, or what it should refer to.
Okay. We are all used to speech, that is the expressive speech, aren't we?
Yeah.
You, me, all of us, we are talking, and with this we express each other's views. Vaikari. Now,
Okay.
the essence of knowledge has to be gained by silently meditating upon it, by silently thinking of it deeply. If noise, if we get distracted by sound, by noise, then the knowledge will not become perfect. That is why they have divided this the speech or the sound into these 4 divisions. So what it says is, yes, externally you use the sound, no doubt, but always try to go back to the very root of that sound, which is para. If you can go to the root of the sound, for example, Om, I will just give you a very common example. Om, all right? U, and These are the 3 sounds that emanate out of that one syllable called Om, all right?
Yep.
Is the most expressive sound. We are always expressive. From our alphabet starts from or A, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then U is deeper. It goes deeper into your throat. U. Okay. And
Yep.
when happens, then all the sounds stop there. All the noise stops over there. Similarly, with all these scriptural teachings or scriptural studies, etc., it is good for us to study the scriptures, no doubt, but one must take it to our throat. That means we must swallow it, not just outside the lips, but we must swallow it, and it must. I'm just giving a very, very crude example. We must swallow it, that say we must imbibe it. And then it should go deeper, and all the sound, all the noise must stop. In meditation, for example, when you sit for meditation, what do you do sometimes? Many of us do this. We start by chanting some mantras or any mantra that is given to us, even the chanting of Om and all that. And then slowly and slowly, you go deeper into yourself, and then you start enjoying the the object of that sound, maybe a god or goddess or any other ideal that you are thinking about. So it goes deeper into, and then when it goes inside yourself, that is to say, when you settle yourself in it, that means your identity becomes merged with the identity of the divine, of the object of meditation, then there is immense joy, ananda. So that is the idea. That is why Shankaracharya is saying, yes, gross words are good, there is no doubt, but one must go deeper behind the gross words, try to find the meaning of that. Then from the meaning, you go deeper into the very source itself. That is the idea that has that is the idea that has been expressed over here. Hope I have been able to give that.
Awesome. Thank you.
explanation.
Thank you so much for explaining.
Thank you. Thank you. We shall have the next study of this on the 26th Thursday.